welcome. In this lecture, I just want to go through a few examples of computing numbers mod other numbers, kind of illustrative examples for some of the things that you might be a little confused about. Okay, so here's the first one. So we have that 5 is going to be congruent to 1 mod 2, right? Which is actually telling us, right? What is that telling us? It's telling us that 5 is odd, right? So anything odd will be. Okay, and actually, I'm gonna start a color scheme here. I didn't with this one, but I suddenly really want to. Okay, the next one is going to be, what about, so what if over here I have 12, and then I want to look, so it's congruent to what, mod 5. Well, okay, it's congruent to 2 mod 5, but it's also okay to write, there's nothing wrong. Sometimes one looks at this and thinks we always put the smallest number there, which we do. But it's also okay that these are congruent, mod 5. Okay, so that's totally okay that 17 is bigger than 12. It's totally okay that 17 is bigger than 5. We're not breaking any rules there. Okay. The next one I want to look at is, what if we have 91? So 91, and we're looking at what it's congruent to, and we're looking mod 12. One of the things that this is actually congruent to is minus 17. Okay, so negative, right? And that totally works because the difference between these is what, 108, which is divisible, did I do that correctly? It is 108, which is divisible by 12, and that's all we need, right? So it's okay, like negative and positive numbers can be congruent, so negative and positive numbers can be congruent. Okay, and then we have 4. So the last one is at 531, and we would write it like this: is not congruent to 0 mod 4. So let's just kind of check that. Okay, because if we take, so 531, so 531, and then we subtract off 0, we're going to get that this is, oops, which is again 531. And we know that 4 doesn't divide 531 because it's not even, right? And we know that 4 does not divide 531 because 531 is not even. So I don't need to go beyond that because 531's is not even, right? It's not even divisible by 2, so it definitely can't be divisible by 4. Okay, so these are just a few examples. I try to choose examples that highlight various different aspects of it. Everything, so all the odd numbers are congruent to 1 mod 2. They're also congruent to all the other odd numbers. All the even numbers are congruent, and they're congruent to 0 mod 2. It's okay, right, there's nothing wrong with the biggest number being here. There's nothing wrong with one of these numbers being negative. And then, right, how do we know that right, we're looking at the difference here. So, yeah, right, so in each of these, the reason that they're congruent is because their difference is divisible by about that number, right? 5 minus 1 is divisible by 2. It's easier to do this the other way. Remember, we can do 17 minus 12 is 5, so it's definitely divisible by 5. That was 108, which is divisible by 12, and this one was not You can tell, like if you're looking at congruence mod 2 or mod 4 or something even, that if the difference between those numbers is not even, they're not going to be congruent. Okay, so I hope that was a little helpful, and that we highlighted a few of the most confusing and most important things, so that like you'll be able to do this in the future. Okay, so I will see you in the next lecture.